Have you ever wondered if your everyday habits might be silently pushing people away without you even noticing? As we age, we settle into routines that feel like second nature, but some of these behaviors can quietly become blind spots, subtly affecting how family, friends, and even strangers perceive us. In this video, we uncover 12 subtle behaviors that might be dimming your dignity and distancing others, often without you realizing it. Understanding these habits is the first step to reclaiming the respect and connection you deserve. You need to watch until the end because these insights, paired with practical, actionable steps, will empower you to make small yet transformative changes. These adjustments can restore your confidence, strengthen your relationships, and help you carry yourself with the grace and respect you've earned. By addressing these behaviors, you'll not only enhance how others experience you, but also rediscover a deeper sense of self-worth. This video isn't just about fixing mistakes. It's about unlocking a more vibrant, connected version of yourself. We'll guide you through each behavior with clarity and compassion, offering real-world examples and easy-to-apply solutions that fit into your life. Whether you're looking to mend strained connections, project vitality, or simply feel better about yourself, these lessons will resonate. Don't miss out. Stay with us to transform how you show up in the world and foster the warmth and respect you've always valued. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Number 1. Neglecting personal hygiene. Neglecting personal hygiene might seem like a small, almost insignificant matter at first glance, but let me tell you, its impact is anything but subtle. It's one of the most powerful, yet often unnoticed ways that people communicate a shift in how they perceive themselves. The deterioration of our daily routines, the small sacrifices made in the name of convenience, can be a reflection of deeper emotional states or changes in our mental health. But the truth is, it's often the first thing others notice, even if they don't vocalize it. And trust me, that unspoken message speaks volumes. When I think of personal hygiene, it's so much more than just the physical act of cleanliness. It's about the energy you put into your own life and the respect you show not only to yourself, but to the world around you. And yet over time, especially as we grow older, something changes. We begin to see the subtle signs of neglect creeping in. Clothes that have been worn far longer than they should, stained or wrinkled as though they've been forgotten. Hair that grows greasy and tangled, perhaps untouched for days. Fingernails too long with dirt hiding beneath them, and a body odor that seems to cling to you like an invisible cloud. These seemingly small details, they pack an emotional punch. They tell a story, one that many may not speak aloud, but it's felt deeply. I've noticed how easy it is for us, particularly as we age, to fall into the trap of letting go of these once automatic routines. As the years pass, energy wanes, life's demands grow heavier, and maintaining a routine that once felt like second nature becomes something we simply don't have the strength or motivation for anymore. Sometimes it feels like a quiet resignation settles in, as if the act of why bother becomes easier than the act of caring for ourselves. The body tells us it's tired, and so we listen. But what we may not realize is that others are listening too, and they're receiving a message far more profound than we intend to send. You may not even notice it happening, but others, especially those closest to you, pick up on these signals. The younger generation especially might not know how to bring this up without creating discomfort or embarrassment, so they respond in quieter ways. Maybe they keep their distance when they visit, sitting a little farther apart, or cutting conversations short when they might normally last longer. They hesitate before offering a hug or a kiss on the cheek, unsure how to bridge the invisible gap that now feels wider than it used to. These aren't just little quirks, these are emotional adaptations. They're their way of saying, I want to connect, but something feels off, something feels distant. And the truth is, this isn't about judging you for your appearance. It's not about superficial beauty standards, or the idea that we all need to look a certain way to fit in. It's about self-respect. When you stop taking care of yourself, when you neglect those little acts of self-care, you're unknowingly sending a message that you've disengaged, that you no longer feel like you're worth the effort. And sadly, as humans, we often reflect that energy back. People may start to emotionally withdraw, not because they love you less, but because the way you present yourself feels like a form of surrender, like you've stopped fighting for the best version of yourself. But here's the beautiful truth. It doesn't take much to reverse this. A simple act of self-care, slipping into a freshly laundered shirt, running a comb through your hair, trimming your nails, or just spritzing on a clean scent, can shift so much. These tiny actions send a loud, resounding message. I am here, I still matter. I respect myself, and I want to show that to you. Hygiene, though often overlooked, is a quiet, powerful way to invite others into your world. It says, I am vibrant. I am worthy of connection, and I am ready to be engaged with heart and soul. Self-care is an act of love, not just for yourself, but for everyone who will be blessed to spend time with you. It's an invitation for closeness, for genuine warmth, and for the kind of connection that reminds us we're all in this together. We may struggle, but we can always choose to show up for ourselves in the most beautiful and dignified ways possible. It matters. You matter, and your presence presented with care and respect speaks to the heart. Number 2, speaking without a filter. As we grow older, the filter that once acted as a safeguard, whispering cautions like, maybe don't say that or is this necessary, can slowly fade away. For some, through decades, this shift feels like the long-awaited freedom to speak without restraint. A kind of liberation earned of holding back, keeping our true thoughts tucked away. It's as if after all these years we have finally earned the right to express ourselves without fear of judgment. I'm just being honest, you might say, or I've lived long enough to speak my mind. But while this unfiltered approach may feel like a personal victory, the reality is that it often lands very differently with others, sometimes causing discomfort or even tension in our relationships. There's a thin, delicate line between being honest and being tactful. And crossing that line too frequently can leave us feeling disconnected, or worse, alienated from those we care about. You may start to notice subtle signs that your honesty isn't always being received as you intended. People pausing awkwardly mid-con conversation, glancing away or fidgeting nervously. These are all subtle but telling signs that your truth, however well-intentioned, may have come across more as harshness than honesty. The truth is, without empathy, even the most well-meaning honesty can sound like criticism. What may have felt like a cathartic release of personal frustrations can feel to others like an unwelcome judgment. And the worst part, they may not even voice their hurt. Instead, they retreat emotionally and physically. Invitations to gatherings become fewer, phone calls become shorter, or conversations turn shallow. It's not that they don't care about you, but they are silently protecting themselves from what they perceive as a barrage of criticism, even if that wasn't your intention at all. The key to navigating this is to pause before you speak, to reflect for just a moment on your words. Ask yourself 2 simple but powerful questions. Is this helpful? Is this kind? What feels like simply speaking your truth might in reality be a release of your frustrations coming out heavier than you realize. Think about it. If you wouldn't want someone to say the same thing to your child or grandchild, would it be wise to say it to anyone else? The rule of thumb here is golden. If it's not something you'd say to someone you love, then it's probably time to reconsider. Aging grants us a wealth of wisdom that many others haven't yet had the chance to acquire. But the true power of this wisdom lies in how we choose to share it. When we offer our insights with compassion, it becomes magnetic. People will lean in eager to hear your thoughts because your words invite connection rather than division. And that's the real power of the voice we hold in our later years. Not the power to speak our truth at the expense of others, but the power to nurture understanding, strengthen relationships, and earn deeper respect. By choosing kindness over bluntness, we don't just impart knowledge. We cultivate bonds that last, enriching not only our lives, but the lives of those around us. So let your wisdom shine, not through harsh truths, but through the compassion that speaks louder than any words. Number 3, wearing clothes that don't fit anymore. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. There's a certain comfort in holding on to things that are familiar. Whether it's savoring the same breakfast each morning, walking down the same well worn path, or slipping into the clothes that have accompanied you for years, it feels safe, feels like home. But when it comes to your wardrobe, clinging to the past in this way can subtly convey a sense of carelessness or disregard for the present. Think about it. Pants that sag uncomfortably, shirts that strain at the seams or hang too loosely, shoes worn down to the point of being threadbare, or outfits stuck in an era long gone. Each of these choices, while maybe unintentional, communicate something. It sends a message that you may not be aware of or perhaps haven't realized. You deserve better than to wear clothes that no longer align with who you are. The truth is, these little things matter more than we often admit. But let me be clear, this isn't about chasing the latest fleeting fashion trends or trying to dress as if you're decades younger than you are. It's about embracing who you are right now. It's about honoring your journey and showing that you still value the present, even if the years are adding up. Clothing that fits properly, feels comfortable, and looks intentional. Whether it's a sharp jacket, a blouse that complements your style, or shoes that show care, speaks volumes about your self-awareness and self-respect. When people see an older adult in well-chosen, well-fitting clothes, there's an undeniable sense of quiet admiration that follows. It's not about the price tag or the latest designer label. It's about the effort. It's about showing that you're still invested in how you present yourself and in how you move through the world. A fresh upgrade, like trading in outdated slacks for a modern, tailored fit, or selecting a shirt that brightens your complexion, can completely shift how you're perceived. And it goes beyond appearances. It's about how you feel in those clothes, how they make you stand a little taller, how they add a spark of confidence that's been quietly building inside you. People will see someone who's present, who is living with purpose, and who is still engaged with life. They'll notice that you're confident, still holding your ground, still worthy of respect. Not because of the fabric you wear, but because of the intention behind it. When you dress with intention, when you wear clothes that fit both your body and your life as it is today, you create a silent but powerful message. You are here. You are worthy. You matter. Number 4, interrupting or dominating conversations. As we grow older, we amass a treasure trove of experiences, each one shaped by countless moments of joy, heartache, triumph, and failure. With each passing year, you learn more about the world and yourself. Naturally, the desire to share those hard-earned lessons grows stronger. We've lived through moments that younger people can only imagine. And in those moments, there's often this deep, unspoken urge to impart our wisdom, to make sure our voice is heard. However, there's a subtle yet powerful truth we sometimes forget. In our eagerness to share, we might unintentionally overtake the conversation, not leaving enough room for others to speak. I've seen it happen where a person filled with the wealth of their life experiences interrupts to tell a story, offer unsolicited advice, or steer the conversation toward their perspective. And often they don't realize how long they've been speaking, how much they've dominated the flow of the dialogue. It's a well-intentioned impulse, one born from a place of care and a lifetime of lessons. But it can inadvertently silence others, making them feel invisible in the very moment they're supposed to be heard. The thing is, people don't usually speak up about it. Instead, they withdraw, sometimes slowly, sometimes without even realizing it themselves. They stop reaching out as often, their responses become shorter, and their body language more distant. With younger generations, especially grandchildren or young adults, this can create a widening gap, a silent chasm where connections once were. It's not that they don't care or don't respect the stories we have to tell. It's simply that they yearn for a more balanced exchange, a back and forth where both parties feel heard and valued. The solution to this isn't complex, but it requires a shift in mindset. Listen more than you speak. I believe that truly listening is one of the most precious gifts we can give. It's not just about being silent while someone else talks, but about engaging with what they're saying, asking open-ended questions that invite deeper reflection, and giving them the space to share without feeling rushed or interrupted. There's power in silence, in leaving a pause after someone speaks, allowing them to fill it with their thoughts instead of us filling it with ours. When we make that space for others, something magical happens. We create a space where they feel seen, heard, and valued. That's where trust is built, where true connection forms. The irony is that the less we dominate, the more people seek us out, especially the younger generations who may not always show it, but they deeply appreciate when someone listens with genuine curiosity and respect. In a world so full of noise, the act of quiet, active listening stands out like a beacon of connection. We become not just participants in conversations, but bridges that connect the generations and allow us to share, learn, and grow together. So, my friends, let's leave space for others. Let's be present not just with our stories, but with the stories of those around us. That's when conversations become rich, meaningful, and lasting, where every voice, no matter the age, has its rightful place. And when we give others that gift, we're truly creating something priceless, a connection that will span lifetimes. Number 5, complaining about kids. In today's world, it often starts with a seemingly innocent observation. A teenager hunched over their smartphone, oblivious to the bustling world around them, or a young adult in their 30s making decisions that strike you as bewildering or frankly misguided. These moments, which seem so small at first, can easily spiral into a habit of vocalizing complaints about kids these days. And honestly, I get it. I've caught myself thinking, how can they not know the value of hard work? Or why do they seem so lost in their screens, detached from the real world? But here's the thing. These thoughts, though understandable in the heat of frustration, can quickly evolve into a continuous undercurrent of criticism. The critiques slip out so casually, maybe at a family dinner, during a coffee chat with friends, or in passing remarks to someone who's just trying to make small talk. Before we know it, the complaints about the younger generation become like a default setting, an automatic reflex to the changes we don't understand or don't agree with. When this happens, something profound begins to shift. Those simple critiques no longer feel like a harmless observation. They morph into a toxic message that we unintentionally send to the younger people around us. It's a message that says, I'm not interested in what you're going through. Or, I don't care about your reality. And that, my friends, can be incredibly hurtful. It creates walls instead of bridges. It tells the younger generations that their challenges, their struggles, their world, it's all irrelevant, not worth understanding. And that is heartbreaking because when we look at them, we see a reflection of what we once were. Uncertain, striving to find our place, trying to make sense of a rapidly changing world. The difference is, when we were their age, we had a more forgiving space to figure it out, didn't we? We weren't constantly being judged by the generation before us. But in this fast-paced world of social media, instant communication, and overwhelming expectations, it's easy to forget that they're just navigating a different set of challenges. This pattern of negativity isn't something new, though. It's as old as time. Every generation has looked at the one coming up behind them and felt they were lacking something essential, whether it was grit, respect, or resilience. And it's all too easy to point a finger and say, these kids have it easy or they just don't know what hard work is. But here's the thing. Criticizing them, constantly comparing them to how things used to be, is not only unfair, but it also doesn't help anyone. When the critiques become your default lens, they turn from a casual observation into a deep-seated barrier. Instead of connecting, you start rejecting. And what happens next is painful. Those younger generations, the very ones you want to guide and influence, begin to pull away. They stop sharing their experiences with you and they stop asking for your advice because they feel like they're only going to be met with judgment instead of understanding. So, what do? How do we break free from this cycle? It begins with shifting from criticism to curiosity. Instead of labeling their experiences as easy or misguided, ask questions. Instead of saying, these kids today don't appreciate anything, try asking, what's it like to grow up in a world so different from mine? That simple shift, just taking the time to ask, to understand, to truly listen, opens a door to dialogue. It tells them, I see you. I want to hear your side of the story. And that's a connection worth building. I'll be the first to admit letting go of the past isn't easy. It's painful sometimes to admit that things have changed, and not always for the better in our eyes. But the truth is, our power doesn't come from clinging to the past, nor from standing on our high horse, declaring that we have it all figured out. No, the real power comes from being a bridge, from finding common ground, from showing the younger generation that we're ready to hear them, to support them, and to walk alongside them as they figure it out. If we open up our hearts, let go of the judgments, and embrace the unknown. That's when we make a difference. That's when our influence becomes a lasting legacy. When we shift from critiquing to connecting, we give the next generation the gift of wisdom without the burden of judgment. And that's something worth striving for. Number 6, oversharing medical problems. As we grow older, we inevitably face physical challenges, and it's only natural to want to talk about these struggles with those we love. But there comes a point when our conversations seem to center on nothing but the ache in our joints, the endless doctor visits, or the stack of prescriptions we now rely on. What starts as a simple attempt to share can unintentionally transform the space around us into a place of emotional drain. Imagine, if you will, being in the same conversation every time, hearing about ailments and struggles, and feeling as though you're stuck in a sterile, unfilling doctor's office instead of sharing warmth, love, and connection with a loved one. It's exhausting. Friends, family, and even acquaintances may begin to feel emotionally overwhelmed. And this is especially true for younger members of the family. They may struggle with not knowing how to help or what to say. They might retreat not because they don't care, but because they are emotionally exhausted from carrying the weight of repeated health updates. It's like constantly walking on eggshells around someone you love, never quite sure if you're doing enough or if you're making them feel worse by not knowing how to respond. It's not their fault. It's just the weight of emotional fatigue that has slowly crept in. This doesn't mean by any stretch that you should hide your health struggles or pretend everything is perfectly fine when it's not. We all deserve empathy and support. And your pain, whether physical or emotional, is valid. You have every right to express it, to seek solace, and to ask for help. But the key is finding balance. Choose the moments when you share your medical updates carefully, when the time feels right, and when those around you are in a space to listen. Just as important, be sure to balance those moments with discussions that help to lighten the mood and breathe life into the conversation. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment too below to let me know that you are still here with me. Ask about the joys in the lives of those around you. What new adventures are they embarking on? What books have sparked their imagination? What has made them laugh or feel inspired? Share the small, beautiful moments that make life rich, like the funny way your neighbor tends to their garden, or the unexpected bird that made a brief stop at your bird feeder. There's a whole world of experiences, excitement, and wonder beyond the realm of health struggles. By shifting the focus from ailments to curiosity, joy, and shared stories, you become someone who lifts others instead of unintentionally draining them. It's these moments filled with lightness, warmth, and genuine interest that build deep, meaningful connections. You create space where people feel truly seen and valued in your company. And in return, you are met with a kind of support that transcends obligation. The relationships you nurture become strong, resilient, and grounded in mutual care, not in a sense of duty, but in shared joy. This is how we preserve the vibrancy of our connections, no matter the stage of life we are in. Number 7 is being stubborn about outdated beliefs. As the years pass, we all experience the quiet changes that come with aging. Changes that affect not just our bodies, but our way of navigating the world. Our movements begin to slow, our reflexes aren't as sharp, and our awareness of the world around us may fade just a little bit more with each passing year. It's a natural process, but one that can sometimes catch us off guard, and its effects can ripple out into the world, creating moments of discomfort for ourselves and others. Imagine yourself in a busy grocery store, perhaps more lost in thought than usual, as you find yourself pausing right in the middle of an aisle. You don't even realize you're blocking the path for others who are trying to get past in a hurry. Or picture yourself stopping abruptly in the middle of a crowded walkway without thinking. You cause people to swerve or even come to a halt, their steps interrupted by your own. These actions, though unintentional, can cause real disruption in shared spaces. And while most people won't come right out and say anything, their frustration is often silently felt. A sigh here, a quick sidestep there, or maybe even an attempt to avoid walking near you in the future. It can start to feel like a slow erosion of ease in social interactions, like you're no longer as connected to the world as you once were. It's easy to dismiss these little moments, to chalk them up as harmless, but they matter. We may not notice the subtle shifts in how others view us, but it can make us feel more isolated, more disconnected. That's why I believe the key to maintaining that connection with the world, especially as we grow older, is fostering a sense of spatial mindfulness. It's about being intentional about our presence, about moving through spaces with awareness of not just our own needs, but those of the people around us. Now, don't mistake this for being told to rush or push yourself to keep pace with a world that moves too quickly. Slowing down is not only acceptable as we age, it's often necessary for our well being. But slowing down doesn't mean losing touch with the world, and it certainly doesn't mean becoming a hindrance to others. By adopting a few simple habits like staying to one side of the sidewalk, choosing less crowded spots to pause, or simply glancing around to gauge the flow of movement, you can make sure your presence is an asset rather than an obstacle. This mindfulness, this small act of courtesy goes a long way. It's not just about moving through life with grace, it's about maintaining respect for those around you and creating a shared sense of harmony. It says, I see you and I care about how my actions affect you. And that, I think, is such a beautiful reminder that we are still engaged, still part of this world, and that even in our aging, we have the power to contribute to the comfort and ease of those around us. In the end, this simple shift in awareness, this sensitivity to the space we occupy, preserves our dignity and fosters mutual respect. It helps us continue to be active participants in our communities, ensuring that the spaces we share are welcoming for everyone, no matter their age. Number 8, walking or moving without awareness of space. As the years go by, we all experience a gradual but profound shift in our physical and cognitive abilities. It's a part of life, something we can't avoid. With age, our movements slow, our reflexes aren't as quick as they once were, and perhaps most notably, our awareness of the space around us becomes less sharp. This isn't a dramatic change, but it's there. Subtle, almost imperceptible, yet undeniably real. This shift might seem insignificant at first, especially in day-to-day interactions, but the effects are felt by everyone in our surroundings. You might find yourself standing still in the middle of a crowded aisle at the grocery store, unaware of the bustle around you, while others try to maneuver their carts past you. Hey, it's as though you're frozen in place, caught in your thoughts, but at the cost of the space that others are desperately trying to navigate. Or perhaps you stop suddenly in the middle of a busy walkway, oblivious to the people around you. In these moments, others may feel the ripple of disruption as they either swerve to avoid a collision or halt abruptly, all because of your unintentional hesitation. These instances, although they seem small, can have a real impact on those around us. In that brief moment, the world slows for others who are forced to adjust their steps to accommodate your misstep. It's not something people often confront directly, but that doesn't mean they don't feel it. A quiet sigh, an exasperated glance, a subtle sidestep, these are the unspoken reactions that fill the spaces between us over time. These small disruptions repeated day after day can lead to a sense of isolation. It's not that people are angry at you, but rather that these unnoticed actions begin to erode the ease of social exchange. The simple joy of sharing public spaces with others starts to feel strained as the connection between people becomes harder to maintain. But here's the beautiful truth. This doesn't have to be the way. There is hope in simple awareness and mindfulness. The truth is, moving at a slower pace as we age is not just okay, it's necessary. And it doesn't have to come at the expense of others' comfort or peace. Slowing down with intention can bring about a new kind of grace and thoughtfulness. We can learn to move with a deeper awareness of our surroundings. Simple, small actions such as pausing to the side of the sidewalk instead of right in the middle or taking a moment to step aside in less crowded areas can make a world of difference. It's about engaging with the space around you, not just letting it unfold around you without a thought. By taking a moment to scan your surroundings to adjust to the rhythm of the foot traffic, you show that you are still an active participant in the flow of life, even if that flow is a bit slower than it once was. This practice doesn't just keep you from becoming an inconvenience to others. It becomes an act of grace. It shows the world that you are still here, still present, still engaged. It's a gentle act of respect for those around you, one that reinforces your dignity and helps others to feel the same. With every step taken in mindfulness, you create a ripple of kindness, transforming shared spaces into places of mutual respect and harmony. You are not merely occupying space, you are making it better, more navigable, and welcoming for all. This simple, subtle act of awareness enriches your connection to the world, turning public spaces into places where everyone, regardless of pace, can feel seen, respected, and cared for. In the end, it's not just about the space we take up, it's about how we take it up, and that makes all the difference. Number 9, making jokes that don't age well. Humor is such a powerful form of expression. It's not just about laughter, it's a reflection of the time and place where we were raised, a thread that ties us to our past. In many ways, humor is like a mirror reflecting the social norms and cultural attitudes of an era. The jokes that once sparked aorious laughter, those familiar quips shared with friends and family, now sometimes leave us feeling uncomfortable. And what once felt like an innocent jest can feel painfully outdated today. It's an emotional challenge, isn't it? The reality is that humor, especially sarcastic remarks, playful teasing, or jokes rooted in stereotypes, often comes with nostalgia. For many of us, it evokes memories of simpler times when we didn't have the same awareness of how our words could affect others. Yet, this very kind of humor that once bonded us can now create discomfort in today's more inclusive and sensitive environment. What might have once seemed lighthearted can now be perceived as hurtful or worse, as perpetuating harmful ideas. When we laugh at the expense of others, especially those who don't have the power to laugh back, we risk alienating the very people we want to connect with. The response to these outdated jokes often isn't as loud as the laughter once was. It's a more subtle reaction, an uncomfortable pause, a forced smile, or maybe even a polite chuckle followed by a quick shift in the conversation. But don't be fooled by this quiet response. Its impact speaks volumes. Over time, this subtle shift in energy can cause people to pull away, hesitant to engage in conversations where they feel misunderstood or even disrespected. It's heartbreaking to realize that the once warm relationships could begin to fray under the weight of unexamined humor. But here's the beautiful part. Adapting our sense of humor doesn't mean giving up on fun or losing our sense of who we are. It's about growth, about refining our ability to connect with others in a way that feels safe and inclusive for everyone. Humor is still a part of us. It just needs to evolve, reflecting contemporary values while maintaining that spark of authenticity that makes us who we are. And that process of evolution doesn't have to be complicated. Before sharing a joke, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, is this joke meant to build bridges or does it create walls? Is it uplifting and inclusive, or does it rely on stereotypes that could alienate someone? I believe the best humor, the kind that endures, comes from a place of empathy and humility. Self-deprecating jokes, for instance, or lighthearted, witty observations about the universal quirks of being human can bring us together, and playful banter that includes everyone in the laugh invites more than just a chuckle. It creates connection. These are the kinds of laughs that last, the ones that leave everyone feeling a little lighter and more understood. It takes emotional intelligence to navigate this shift in humor, but it's a shift worth making. Being open to learning, listening to the voices around us, and evolving with the times demonstrates growth. And that growth not only strengthens relationships, but also enhances our ability to connect meaningfully with others. A thoughtful, updated sense of humor is a bridge, not a barrier. It becomes a source of joy that connects us to others, making us more relatable, more approachable, and ultimately more compassionate. Because at the end of the day, isn't the purpose of humor to bring us together to lift our spirits and not tear them down? Number 10, acting helpless when you're not. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. As we age, it's only natural to encounter moments when things seem more daunting. Whether it's because of physical limitations, unfamiliar technology, or even the fear of making a mistake. Life changes and certain tasks become more challenging. But here's where the line gets blurry. There's a significant difference between genuinely needing help and habitually relying on others for things you are perfectly capable of handling. And this subtle shift can have a profound impact on your relationships and sense of self. It's easy to fall into the trap of uttering phrases like, "Can you just do this for me?" Or, "I have no idea how this works." When faced with something that feels slightly out of your comfort zone, whether that's learning how to use a new smartphone, carrying a light bag, or trying to figure out how a household gadget works. While it may seem harmless at the moment, These small requests, when repeated, place an invisible burden on those around you. Family members, once your equal partners, can begin to feel like caretakers. Friends who once shared laughter and companionship may start to feel exhausted from constantly being your go-to problem solver. This behavior often comes from a place of deep insecurity. Perhaps the fear of looking foolish, the anxiety of failing in front of others, or the discomfort of having to navigate a world that seems more complex and overwhelming with every passing day. But let's pause and reflect for a moment. By defaulting to helplessness, we risk losing our autonomy, the very thing that gives us a sense of control over our lives. Over time, this can strain relationships, leaving others to feel as though they're carrying the weight of your world while you stand by, waiting for help. But here's the empowering truth. You don't have to let this helplessness take root. Embracing effort, even in small things, can be incredibly empowering. People don't expect you to be perfect. They admire persistence. They respect the willingness to try, to put in the effort, even when things don't go smoothly. Instead of relying on others to carry the load, challenge yourself to take on those small tasks that seem manageable. Learning how to use a new app, carrying your belongings, or mastering a household chore you once avoided. It might take a few tries and, yes, a few missteps, but each attempt is a step forward. It's a testament to your resilience and your determination to stay involved in your own life. By pushing through those moments of uncertainty, you reinforce your sense of agency. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but that discomfort is part of the process of growth. When you need help, ask with clarity, be specific, and above all, be respectful of others' time and energy. And when you do receive assistance, let it come from a place of gratitude and genuine appreciation. This not only maintains the balance in your relationships, but also prevents others from feeling overburdened or resentful. In the end, maintaining your agency isn't about proving you can do everything on your own. It's about showing up with your whole self, offering what you can, and asking for help when it truly matters, always with respect and mindfulness. This approach strengthens relationships, fosters a sense of fulfillment, and reminds you that no matter your age, you are still an active and engaged participant in your own life. You're not just asking for help. You're asserting your place in the world with dignity, effort, and most importantly, heart. Number 11, pretending you're always right. As we journey through life, accumulating decades of experience along the way, it's only natural to develop a sense of confidence in our perspectives. We begin to believe that the knowledge we've gained over the years is solid, unshakable, and perhaps most dangerously, the only truth that matters. The temptation to assert our wisdom as definitive, to view our insights as the final word, is strong. But the truth is, when the need to be right becomes more important than truly connecting with others, it can silently erode the foundations of even our most cherished relationships. There's a subtle yet powerful danger in constantly asserting that we know best. When we repeatedly correct others, dismiss their viewpoints with phrases like, "Trust me, I've been around long enough to know," or insist that our approach is the only valid one, we inadvertently create a space where people feel small, unheard, and undervalued. This behavior isn't just about being right. It's about closing off any room for meaningful, heartfelt exchange. It's exhausting. It's suffocating. And the worst part, it leaves no room for growth, either in ourselves or in others. Conversations become one-sided, stifled under the weight of unspoken words and unacknowledged emotions. Over time, this dynamic takes its toll. Those around us, rather than engaging in honest, open dialogue, begin to withdraw. They hold their thoughts close, perhaps even retreating into silence to avoid feeling judged, criticized, or belittled. It's heartbreaking to watch. And yet, it happens slowly, almost imperceptibly. What was once a vibrant, thriving relationship becomes reduced to superficial exchanges, a mere shadow of what it could have been. The connection that once existed fades, and the isolation creeps in. It's not a loud, glaring emptiness. Instead, it's a quiet, almost unnoticed withdrawal that eats away at the richness of our bonds. True wisdom doesn't lie in being the loudest voice in the room or in always having the last word. True wisdom comes from the rare and difficult ability to balance confidence with humility. It's about recognizing that while our experiences and insights are valuable, they are not the only ones that matter. When we allow others the space to share their perspectives, we open the door to deeper understanding. Instead of framing our thoughts as infallible truths, we can present them as part of a larger conversation, asking questions that invite others in, offering space for new ideas to breathe. This approach doesn't diminish the value of our own experiences. Rather, it magnifies them. When we speak with care, with openness, with the willingness to listen as much as we speak, our words carry more weight. They hold power not because they are unchallenged, but because they are delivered with respect for others' voices too. It is in this shared exchange where all perspectives are valued that true growth and wisdom occur. By holding our viewpoints with conviction while also remaining open to the wisdom of others, we cultivate an environment of mutual respect and trust. This creates space for everyone to be heard, for every voice to matter. And in doing so, we become people others seek out and treasure, not out of obligation, but out of genuine connection. In the end, wisdom isn't about always having the last word or the loudest voice in the room. It's about knowing when to speak, when to listen, and how to create an environment where everyone's voice can flourish, where the richness of each perspective is honored, and where true connection can thrive. As we reflect on the importance of balance in our relationships and the wisdom that comes from embracing both confidence and humility, I want to ask you, what have you learned from today's video? What insights have resonated with you? And how do you plan to put them into practice in your own life? Take a moment to think about one thing you've learned today and how it might change the way you interact with others moving forward. I'd love to hear your thoughts and reflections, so please leave a comment below this video and share what you're taking away from this message. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Your support means the world, and it helps us continue bringing you valuable insights. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts.